My mom passed away about a week ago, and the last time I saw her, I was sitting in the back of a police car, and she was sitting on the porch lying to them about me. Our relationship was very weird. We went from not knowing each other to really close for 7 years to just toxic, and we hated each other. And then she died. I want to tell you the story of our relationship and how it got to that point. I lived with my mom until I was about 8 years old, and then I was adopted. In the 8 years that I was with her, I don't have very many good memories of her. There was a lot of neglect and me being left to my own devices and trying to raise my 2 little brothers. She was always off doing who knows what, raiding the neighbors' houses, using all kinds of different substances, until eventually at 8, we got taken away. I really didn't have contact with her until I turned 18. In between that time, she had been in and out of prison for a multitude of things. When I was 18, I was already married and I had my daughter. My mom got released from prison and she was staying in a halfway house. In my head, I thought that if I went and helped her, gave her somewhere to live and stability, that maybe she would come around and that we could have that mother-daughter relationship that I had always wanted. I went and got an apartment up in her area because she was on probation and she could only live within certain boundaries, and she moved in with us and we took care of her and she got to know my baby. We ended up getting really close. We took care of her a lot. If she didn't have food, we fed her. If she needed to go anywhere, I took her. If she needed anything, I gave it to her. In the middle of that 7 years, we had moved out of state. The entire time we lived together, I desperately wanted her to be my mom, but it never felt that way. It felt like we had a sisterly bond, and I'm not gonna lie, it really bothered me because I wanted a mom. I wanted someone to look up to. But I found that most of the time she would come to me for advice. If she needed money, she came to me. If she needed a ride, she came to me. So I felt like her mom, and it was just weird. Eventually, this was about a year ago, my family became flat broke. We could not afford anything anymore. She couldn't keep up with her portion of the rent, and we had to leave the state we were living in and move back to our home state. We moved in with family, a house full of my family that are all struggling and trying to make ends meet. For the 6 years that my mom had lived with my family, I could count on one hand how many times we had arguments or we bickered. We really didn't fight that much. We got along pretty well for our situation. Now, for whatever reason, when we moved into my family's house, she changed up, and it was the weirdest thing to witness, and it shocked me. It was like I wasn't housing her anymore, and she didn't need to rely on me for rides, so she didn't need to be nice to me anymore. I had felt extremely betrayed because I loved her, and I wanted her to love me too, and I wanted her to see me as her daughter. There was an incident where my brother's girlfriend, who lived in the house, had called my kids disgusting. My mom decided to go be friends with my brother's girlfriend, spend late nights down in the basement with them, talking shit about me. I could hear them. And when I'd bring it up to her, she'd call me crazy. It's all built up to one night when we got in an argument, and I can't remember what it's about, but I remember she was screaming in the middle of the night, I am some terrible person, and that I abused her the 6 years that she lived with me. She screamed it over and over and over again. I couldn't understand why she was switching up the way she was, and why she had no loyalty, and why she would never stand up for me and my kids. She would go around that house with everyone living in it and spread blatant lies about me. I just didn't get it. And finally, we get to the last day that I saw her. It was a very dramatic day. That day I went to talk to her. I'm not gonna lie, it's not like I was just calm the whole time talking like this. I was upset. I wanted to know why she was treating me the way she was treating me. I had felt so hurt by her, and I just wanted to know why. In the argument, she had said that she was never my mom, and she was never going to be my mom, and that I'm crazy, I'm a bad mom, she's gonna call CPS on me. She's calling me crazy, acting like I don't know how to take care of my kids, like I'm insane for being upset when my kids are mistreated. And there just came a point when she was telling me come do something to her, and she was like coaxing me into it. And in that moment, I hated her so much. Put so much effort and energy into someone that would never love me, didn't even want to be my mom. She knew the only way to hurt my feelings and to get to me and to make me mad was to insult my children, was to call me a shitty mom, was to threaten the safety of my babies. And that's just what she did that day. But she said some terrible, terrible things that would make any mother angry. Eventually, that same argument got physical, and she put her hands on me. I put my hands on her. She called the cops on me, and she lied to the cops about me, telling them that I need help that I'm not stable in the brain, that I just run around and attack everybody. They arrested me. The last memory of her, my mom sitting on the porch lying about me, wanting me locked up, wanting me anywhere else besides with my kids. So like 2 months pass, then she starts hitting me up saying she misses me, that she loves us, she loves my kids, she would do anything for us, and she sent me some birthday money. And all of those times I had left her on red because I was so angry. Another month passes. A couple days ago, I get a call and tells me that my mom was found in her bed. At this moment, I don't even know how she passed. I know she had health problems, and I know that she's never really taken very good care of her body. But the flood of feelings that I had experienced was extremely intense, because not only was I extremely sad, I was angry and I was confused. And it's not even that I wanted her in my life, because if she was alive today, I still would not have her in my life. It's that the thought of her coming around and saying sorry for putting me through all she's put me through, it just died with her. She's gone, and I'm never going to have a mom. I hated the way that she treated me, and I hated the way that things ended. Our relationship was all right, and it just went downhill so fast. I realized that I never really knew my mom, even though I put so much effort into knowing her. I don't think I felt the same pain as someone who had lost like a good mom, someone they were really close to, that they called every day, that they trusted. But I felt a lot of confusing pain, and I still do. I love my mom, and my babies love my mom, and I do hope she's resting in peace. There's still all this anger I feel inside that I'll have to work through, and as much as I wish that things could have ended differently between us, it was just out of my control. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you all have better relationships with your mom than I had with mine.